to see it is what it is. But definitely this whole corporate structure and this whole corporate world is really needing people who are other focused. It's always about, always about hierarchy, always about pleasing your boss just to look good. It's all about like what other people think of you. So this whole corporate life is needing people who other focused, is always obsessed by other people. Look at what happened with reality TV. People freaking obsessed by others.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, wow, like how much? Like I understand that you might be interested a little bit.
Yeah.
But to this level, seriously.
See, I actually remember when I used to watch reality TV.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I was like, obviously I remember it was my life, but like I used to be obsessed with that sort of stuff. I loved it.
Of course, awesome.
Yeah, because I was exactly like that. People pleasing, and we were never trained to be by ourselves or for ourselves or to just be and still, like be still and learn that sort of stuff. Like unlearn everything that we've been trained so that we could just be still. And so, yeah, I get what both sides are like, and I think it's just the misinformation that helps people get into that place, right? Like this is what we do. We watch Kim Kardashian and we do these things and we look this way and we do this stuff because that's what's cool. That's what
cool.
what everybody wants to do,
Girl, more power to you.
Exactly. Exactly. And what does it do? It breeds unfulfilled people that feel
Everybody looks the same.
everybody looks the same. Their face doesn't fucking move. They don't have a wrinkle inside. Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
Beautiful.
And having the same issues. Oh, like I don't like my husband, I don't like my partner, this, that and the other. Whinging about each other, whinging about their parents, their family.
Wrong, we are right.
Yeah.
Everybody's stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole world is against me.
Exactly. My body, fuck my body. Do you remember those ones? I used to be like that. Like, oh my gosh, my body, like I hate my body, this, that and the other.
Or like an eating disorders?
Oh, not even eating disorders, but
I
had an eating. Yeah, totally. Even kids have eating disorders. Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, fuck, are you serious?
Yeah, it's next level. Hey. So it's exactly where they want it to be.
That's right.
But it's not serving anybody.
Well, it does.
Yeah, okay, it serves them.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And when we say them, who does that mean to you?
Well, there's many different names and many different layers to it. Somebody called them the Illuminati, somebody called them the 13 families, I think, who started the banks, and somebody says like aliens behind this, well, like David Icke sort of thing, like it depends how deep you're going down the rabbit hole.
Totally.
What sort of dimension we're talking about.
Yep.
I'm not sure. Maybe I don't know.
Just put it on you. It's easier. Yeah. I know, it's interesting, right?
A name to it. I don't know. Let's give a name to it. Like the clan or something, or the mafia. A bit like a mafia, It's a bit like a mafia.
It's the soul-sucking mafia.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like a vampires.
Totally.
Yeah.
So many movies on it as well.
Oh, that's the whole point behind it,
Yeah. Just breeding that unconsciousness so that they can suck our, what's it called? Louvre. The Louvre?
The Louvre?
Is that what it's called?
What is the Louvre?
It's when people get into a state and then they're able to harvest our energy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's called Louvre. They harvest off the Louvre energy, so they believe that, the Illuminati is attached, like you said, to the off-world energy, and the energy is taken off-world, and they're harvesting off our energy. Like we're being harvested for our energy.
Yeah, of course, like a battery.
Exactly. So that's why they want people to be miserable, stuck, unfulfilled, unhappy, because then they create this Louvre energy and they can harvest it. So that's why they don't want us to be happy and sovereign in sunshine, with chemtrails everywhere.
This is what my friend was saying as well, that they can actually see where is coming more energy, and where is more energy. This is when they send in the chemtrails.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Where you see it, so the more toxic, because, oh my gosh, this place is getting a bit more life force and more life energy to it, right? So let's fuck them up, you know.
Totally.
You know.
Totally. Like you can notice it really specifically even around like when there's public holidays. Like everybody's so excited they're going to have this amazing public holiday and it's going to be sunny and everybody's going to get to go to the beach, and then it's just smashed with chemtrails, so everybody's in this Louvre energy and nobody's outside. It's like, wow, you guys, like, we see you. But then there's also like a lot of people like, fuck, what do we do with that? That's super fucked up. It's like, well, we don't get angry about it because that's creating more Louvre.
That's the first thing. That's the first thing.
It's like, how can I be sovereign in my own body and know that I am that powerful that somebody wants to harness my energy? Like, if we all realize that and just being like, fuck, we are some cool, awesome motherfuckers, right? That's then that changes everything. That changes the game a lot.
When did you get red-pilled? Like
Get
this,
what?
like red-pilled?
Red-pilled?
Red-pilled, yeah.
Oh, red-pilled? Like the Matrix?
Yeah, like this is like a really serious level of shit, like, you know, like it's...
A long time, actually. Probably like when I first started getting into it. Well, I'm 38 now, so probably when I was like about 25, 27, something like that. And
Straight into it? Like, was something happened, or was it like a gradual thing?
Good question. So I think it's just been a constant evolution my whole life. Like, I was always interested in health and being the best that I could possibly be. But I was going through a matrix frame model of what perfect is. So I didn't really know. And then I got into like organics when I was 25 and went to a health retreat, and that changed my life because...
You learned so much about you and the whole thing and the misinformation.
Yeah, exactly. About how like farming is harvested.
That's why you're so attracted to this retreat thing, because that was such a major catalyst for yourself, and you see what sort of effect it can provide and give to people if they're coming together and they're really learning something about something what they can use.
Totally, because when you think about it, everything that we do is either like aiming us towards pleasure or pain.
That's it.
Right? And so some people don't want to go towards pleasure, they'll go towards pain, but a lot of people ultimately really want to be happy. And that sort of stuff is just peeling away all the stuff that's kept us stuck and miserable and upset, so that there's just pure joy and happiness.
That's it.
And I honestly believe that deep down everybody wants to feel that.
Of course.
But then it just depends on how much trauma or
shit what we had to go through.
Yeah, that they'll allow themselves to peel away the shit. Right? How about you? When did you go into this sort of otherworldly thinking?
Well, I've been in and out, but my first out of experience was like 18 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I had my first acid trip.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was just like, whoa, you know, like meow. You know, I went to a place for 12 hours, which I didn't know existed, you know, like I grew up like in an atheist family. I was always very materialistic person.
Yeah, same.
And on my first acid trip, I was a priest, and I was preaching from the Bible.
Wow.
And my friends were like, what the heck is going on? And I don't know, just these words were coming out of me. And then I saw myself around the campfire as a Buddhist monk and play.
Hello.
Hey.
That's amazing.
And I was just like
all
getting,
the things.
yeah, and they're coming in, and yeah, that's really made me question a lot of things about life, you know, like it's okay, what is actually happening? Because I saw myself, you know, getting into trance state and drumming and getting chanting like Allah 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 Allah, you know, like getting chanting
and all the different religions as well.
Yeah, it was just a very hypnotic, mystical experience, and just opened up a lot of doors, you know, like what's exactly happening, and you know, it's a rabbit hole. You know, you're going down the rabbit hole, and obviously at the first time you're quite upset and feel betrayed, you know, because you think that everybody's as nice as mommy, you know, and wants the best for you. But then you realize, no, these fuckers, they really wanna suck everything out of us, you know. But then, just like, okay, how is it actually happening? Or if I'm angry or like depressed or feel like betrayed, like what's the solution there? Like, and I think when you realize that you just be okay with it and just accept it and work your way out of it. I think that's for me is a much more efficient approach.
Yeah,
Then
absolutely.
you know, because otherwise I'm just feeling that sort of energy what they want me to feel.
Yeah.
So I just appreciate it, you know. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I
Thank
mean?
you, I'm amazing.
You know what I mean? Thank you. You guys part of the whole too. Thank you. You know, it's like a
Yeah.
training.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, but having these awesome tools now like Wim Hof and breathwork and landmark forum. This is tapping into this very ancient knowledge called alchemy. You know, the science of self-transformation. How you're turning the base metal into gold. You know, that was the original alchemical study.
Yeah.
And on a spiritual level is how we turning, how we integrating our shadow into our being. So that's the on the deepest level.
Yeah.
This is what alchemy is.
Yeah. Yeah.
On a spiritual level, and all these tools are helping us to bring the best version of ourselves, either emotionally, mentally, spiritually.
Yeah. So true.
So by the hearing what you're saying, this is something what you're doing around this alchemical space, when people can come and leave the shit behind and they can transform themselves into a new being. And
Absolutely.
because at the end of the day, is life. Everybody got trauma, right? Like everybody got trauma with the mother, you know, with the father,
friend,
you know, first love, first cry,
Yeah.
you know, first depression, you know, everybody got that shit. But how do we deal with this?
That's it. Are we ready to deal with it? That's the thing, like...
Oh, we want to deal with it.
Yeah, when people are like driven, I feel, either towards pleasure or towards pain, they're like, no, that's too painful. It's like, that's where your pleasure is. Like, if you just deal with that little, rip the band-aid off, burn your arm and put some poison in it.
Yeah, pretty
and
much.
then on the other side of that is the pleasure. And people just like, so scared of this thing that they're like, oh no, I can't go there. But it's actually like, no, that's your greatest, your true essence is on the other side of that, because that's the mask that was created at that moment in time that's preventing you from being your authentic self and being the confident person that you are on the inside.
Truly, yeah.
You know, because everybody's born confident, like everybody's born perfect. And then it's just all like, you know, and then people are like, oh, well, then how can you have a baby that's like unconfident and shy and all that sort of stuff? It's like, well, they could have had a really traumatic birth, traumatic conception, traumatic inside the womb, and heard a lot of turmoil
drama,
around it.
fighting with the parents, can be.
Yeah, and that, so it can create it right from day dot. So yeah, that's like deeper work to do that, but not necessarily as well, because I know people that have gone and been like that their whole lives, and then in their 40s gone and done medicine work or gone and done the deep inner work, and then still in 2 weeks they changed, completely transformed, like all the layers just peeling off.
In 2 weeks, huh?
Yeah, you know, but you would have seen it as well, like with one of the girls that's watching now. A few of the girls, hey ladies, that are watching now, they came and did the course that I went and worked at, and so that's like the somatic therapies I was telling you about, and they do it all in one weekend, and you literally just see people just come online, like working through their stories and just into their soul essence, their full expression of self. It's just like,
that's it.
It's so addictive. Like, to be honest, it's addictive for me to witness people like.
It's a magic. It's a freaking. It's magic, and it happens in an instant.
Yeah.
Because you're see things in a complete different new light.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a complete different light. Like, if something happens in your consciousness, you're giving different meaning to it. It doesn't hold you back anymore how it used to, you know, because at the end of the day, all we're doing is freaking making up stories.
Exactly.
And there, story, meaning, assessing, that's wrong, that's right, that's beautiful, that's not, oh my gosh. You know, it's all about, this doesn't shut up.
Yeah.
Freaking running our lives.
Yep. So true, coming into each moment with the baggage of all the stuff of our past, and that's how we're judging everything.
Everything goes through that filter.
Yeah.
You know, just everything, and we're looking at life through these long glasses. You know, these thick glasses, like all these filters in front of us.
Yeah, all those filters like over our heart.
That's
so that we're never in that moment, in that space. And love it. Just like smash through the shit.
That's it.
Peel it away.
That's it.
Get straight to the heart medicine.
That's it. There's nothing has any meaning except the one we give. You know, that's I think that's the bottom. We making up our own stories, own dramas, we creating our own lessons. And it's it can be very painful at the first time. Because it's just like, oh really? You know, but
because nobody's used to taking responsibility for for themselves.
That's it.
And actually, that's what really turned me on when I first started getting into the work, like with the health stuff, is that you can be really 100% responsible for yourself. You're responsible for your own health, whether it be mental, physical, emotional. We're responsible, and that's what I remember being a health coach and having that's what I really loved, being able to have people go, you know what, I am completely in control. Yes, being a control freak, but in a good way.
Yeah, of course. You know what's going on.
Yeah, I can put whatever I want in my body and I'll feel a certain way. So I think that for a lot of people, the body is the gateway to consciousness. Because if you think about it, you go, a lot of people will be in just the normal mundane, and then they'll get into health, and then they feel amazing, and so they're getting into their body for the first time.
Yeah, of course.
And so that's the gateway. But then I feel in this time, a lot of people stop there.
That's right.
They're just in the body, in
That's
the body,
right.
in the body with
It's
the
all
mind.
about me.
Yeah.
It's all about me. Yeah. How do I look?
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
That's the game. Yeah.
Mix that with a bit of the personal development or the medicine.
Purpose. That is my gift.
Yes.
How can I actually share
The
this?
transformational work, so they can figure out what their purpose is. Then that's gold essence.
How do you define purpose? What purpose is meaning for you?
I think personally, for me, it's when you see somebody lit up by life. You know, where all of the constructs that we need a certain amount of sleep, that we need this much time to do something, that we need to spend time with this person, that we need to do these things. When you get out of obligation and you start being in just where the fuck did the time go? What was that? What was this?
The flow state.
Yeah. Today, I went to bed at 5 a.m. Then I was back here at 8 a.m. to do plant medicine because that's what my soul wanted, and I was doing work that I loved last night.
Wow.
You know, so and most people that know me, I used to go to bed at 8:30 at night and wake up at 6 so I could be on the beach meditating for sunrise. Now I don't have any fucking idea of what the time is most of the time, and I'm just
completely in the moment, eh?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's just and totally present in the moment. And I find that's just the fucking best. And it's not forever, because I obviously can't sustain living on 3 hours sleep a night.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe it's also the iboga, that might help.
I'm sure it has a part of it.
And especially, but it's the consciousness of something.
Of course.
Because you could do that with a glass of water, right? And just be like...
Same thing with this water fasting thing, seriously, what the heck fuck is that?
Head fuck, water?
Not the water, but to make you say you need to eat 3 times a day. What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Totally.
And it was so funny because I just done it once, and it was going for 7 days. And it's so much more difficult to say than actually what it is.
What do you mean?
When you say okay, for 7 days you're only drinking water, it's so much scarier than actually to do it. So
yeah, because it's the easiest thing in the world.
It's not difficult at all. Seriously.
The only thing that's difficult is your mind.
It's the mind.
The ego dying.
That's it.
That's always what it is. That's the hardest thing.
And it just sort of meaning of putting behind it. One of the big realization was on day 2. Day 1 was okay, but on day 2, obviously, you feel hungry. You feel this thing in your stomach. But then I'm just be okay with it and just observing what it is. All I just see just some vibration in my stomach, which actually I'm interpreting as I'm hungry. But when I was interpreting it that, hey, I'm purifying myself, and I was just okay with it, my hunger didn't run my life.
Yeah.
Totally. just how I was interpreting that sensation in my stomach, it just gave me the freedom and just I'm alright. And I was going for 7 days, and I could have come more. I was just I really wanted to have taste.
Yeah, it becomes
beautiful. I wanted to have taste,
the mouth sensation.
Oh my gosh, that's what I was missing. That was harder than actually not having food.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely. Because you also realize that every time we eat, it's an emotional response, right? Did you notice that?
Pretty much.
That was what was huge for me. That's why, like, it was huge because it's like when you aren't in a reactive state, then you don't need to be like reaching for the thing that we used to reach for that fills us up, that gives us what we think we need at the time. It's like, well, no, I'll sit with my reaction and go, what the fuck is this? And there's always depth behind it. It's like, oh, I'm reaching for that because I'm feeling this way, and that reminds me of a memory that I had when I was 4.
That's right. It's like,
that's right. We're so interested.
Conditioned.
Absolutely. So wired with our traumas that we don't even realize the traumas. Because a lot of people, so many, like I'd say probably 70% of people are like, oh, I don't have any trauma. I'm like, you just haven't named it trauma.
That's right.
And you're not validating who the fuck you are, what experiences that you've had, and acknowledging the truth within. It's like, go past that sort of stuff and really see what's in your heart and go, yeah, and acknowledge, yeah, that person, it might not have been a rape or a beating or anything like that, but saying something that's hurtful is the exact same amount of trauma that's stored in the body as something physical, right? Sometimes mental or verbal is like worse. It's more hurtful.
Oh, 100%.
From a parent or a loved one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's so interesting. So I always find that interesting that people are like, oh yeah, no, I have no trauma. No.
That's why they call it the blind spot.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's a blind spot. You don't know it's on. You know?
Yeah.
That's why
I haven't heard that one.
That's why it's the name of the game is to reveal the blind spots, you know? Just to reveal these things which we're not already running our life. We think that's normal. You know, we think it's normal, it's a discipline because this is how it is.
Yeah.
You're just feeling like being a fish in a fishbowl, you know? We're thinking that's the whole thing it is, you know? And
that's when plant medicine's good, isn't it?
that's plant medicine, 100%. That little bubble, you know, what we all have.
Yeah.
You know, they're just getting bursted, you know, just like fuck.
Yeah.
You know, it's
totally. We only know what we know, which is this much.
That's
compared to this much.
And you know, the more you know, the more you realize you know shit.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly. Yeah, it's so true.
And that's why, like, the people who I've really looked up to in my life, they were the most humble people.
Absolutely.
Because they were so successful, like not even funny. But they, at the same time, they were so human because they just realized they just have such a small part in it.
Yeah.
You know, and it just, they taught me a lot in that human aspect of, wow, it was huge, eye-opening to see like people who are really successful. They have a huge dose of humility as well.
Yeah.
You know, they're assertive, then they know what they want, but they have that very awesome, humble side to them as well.
And it's probably because they're like, you know, a channel or a conduit.
That's it.
They don't have the ego there that's going, this is all me, this is all my stuff.
That's it.
It's actually, no, it's flowing through me. I'm just the vessel.
That's it.
Yeah. And that's an interesting one because I've had a troll on social media as well.
Really?
And I love it because it's like, you're not coming up with this stuff all yourself, rah. And I'm like, yeah, I don't have that much of an ego to think that it was ever me. But I love you for even considering. Do you know what I mean? It's like such a game. It's hilarious.
Yeah, of course.
I was like, you're so funny.
You don't even know that you're in it, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, yeah. I know, it's so funny. So yeah, it's really interesting. Like, do you feel that you get that as well? Like a lot of conduit energy?
That's when I'm actually playing an instrument or when I'm doing some creative work, you know, like when doing some creative work or playing music, it's definitely that's why I love to do it, and that's why I'm attracted to it. Or sometimes when I think we communicate, you know, just having like conversation, you know, like you feel like you just, I don't know what I'm doing, you know, I'm just, something goes through me.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't know, I just love to inspire people. I have to have like really good conversations and understanding different perspectives about life, you know, like.
Yes.
I think like the conversations that have some depth, it's, for me, this is really moving the world forward, you know.
Yeah, I totally.
You know, like it's swapping orders, you know, this.
Yeah. And then, like, when you're in that conversation with somebody and you're, like, in love with the conversation, you're both so present. Yeah. So it's just, like, the oneness energy. It's just, like, nothing else. The thoughts aren't there. It's just, like, flowing. It's amazing. I love what you said, because this is was huge for me a long time ago. Like, so many people want to be around people that are similar to them. How fucking boring. I love being around people that are different. It's like, wow, I do not think the same as you. Can you teach me where is your brain going with that? I just don't agree, and I love that I don't agree.
Yeah, of course.
Why would we need to
of
agree?
course,
Like, that would be so
exactly.
fucking boring.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I love that.
Like, you don't
Love
feel
that.
the need to, like, always, to prove that I'm the right and you are wrong, because so many people are in that game, like,
Yes,
even subconsciously,
yes.
they just always know that they know better.
Yes.
I know better than you. All right,
Yeah. So
and it's
true.
very refreshing when you don't have that, because you feel it, like, even if you're not talking about it, you feel it when somebody is just always judging you and assessing you,
Yeah.
you feel it.
Yeah, totally. And I just feel sorry for them, because I just feel their misery as well.
Wow, that's pretty miserable.
But yeah, when they're that judgmental to somebody else, like, far out. I can only imagine how judgmental they are to themselves.
You were had it, like, you had a hairdresser, so you know what's happening. They're probably
yeah.
better than anybody else. Like,
People are really miserable and alone, and they can't talk to people about stuff.
but you gotta look good.
But they talk to their hairdressers. It
Oh
was
my
the biggest
gosh.
insight. It was the biggest insight into people, and how much the masks prevent them from being their truth. Like, so in one of my salons, it's in the city, and there's, like, oh gosh, people out of the government, lawyers, judges, like, people in the high, whatever those jobs.
Yeah, the high
Yeah.
profile, yeah.
And I swear they'd be like talking to you, and they'd be like, I would never talk to anybody about this. Like,
Yeah,
we're
of
talking about
course.
aliens. We talk about the same shit. They pretend that they don't have these thoughts, and they wouldn't communicate it with other people, but they would communicate it with somebody that they would feel safe with.
Of course.
And so, like,
Of
the
course.
stuff that these people will share with me, I was like, whoa, you're conscious as fuck. Like, but hiding it because they don't want people to know or be ostracized from their tribe. Like, I never forget one lady, she was a really long-term client, and she again worked in the government, and she came in one day, I was like, oh, so what's going on with you? And she's like, I don't know what the fuck you and your friends are doing, but don't stop doing it. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, the plant medicine, going and doing this, that, and the other. She's like, I'm psychic now. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, I can pretty much, like, hear people's thoughts. I was like, really? She's like, so whatever you're doing, it's affecting all of us, and it's making a massive difference. So just keep on doing what you're doing. And I was like,
kidding me.
yeah. So that was a spin out for me. I was like, whoa.
It's a spin out for me too.
Like, that we're just actually, we're doing the work, and it resonates. Like, it really does. And that was probably about 6 years ago. Yeah, so I can only imagine.
So how long you been doing hairdressing for?
I did hairdressing for 19 years.
19 years.
19, 20, 21, 22, something like that.
Oh my gosh.
A really long time, yeah.
So you heard a lot of stories.
I heard every story.
In Hungary, we have like a saying that if you really want to know a city, you talk to the taxi driver and hairdresser.
It's true.
Because these are the two professions where they hear about every misery, issue, drama, stories, everything.
Yeah, totally.
Like, they are the main, one of these, I don't know, main points in society,
Yeah,
like,
connection
we
points.
call connection
Everybody has
point.
to go to them.
Uber
Yeah.
driver, now become Uber driver and hairdresser.
Yeah. It's so true. Yeah, it's so true. So yeah, learned so much, heard everybody's stories, and it made me, I think that was a real blessing though, because it made me not want to be like everybody
Of
else, because they're
course.
like miserable as fuck.
Of course.
I don't know, that's really judgmental, but it was just.
But
my
you see
own
that the
personal-
majority of stories and people what you hear, they're really not coming from a nice place. They're not like, hey, I'm waking up on Monday morning, like, yes, Monday morning, I'm loving life. Like, you don't have
true.
that. How many people you know like that? Like, they're having this.
Yeah, not
Having
anybody.
this energy about Monday morning. And I think that's a huge indicator. How do you relate to your Mondays?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it's a Monday, or like, oh, it's a freaking Monday, let's do it,
Yeah.
it's a mission time.
Yeah. It's so true. Like, and I know there's one person watching whose name is Courtney, and she's a fucking Monday person.
Oh, really?
She's just like happy all the time.
Oh, that's awesome. Hello, Courtney.
She's one of my staff in one of the salons, but she's like honestly the happiest person.
Oh.
Everybody just loves being around her.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, and that's a rarity. Like,
But
it's not a
what
common
is
thing.
that? What is that what percent, a couple of percent of people in
Yeah,
that
that's what I
mind
mean,
frame,
like,
you know, like
yeah.
what is the difference? What makes that? How is life occurring to you? How Monday is occurring to you?
Yeah.
You know, what's the mindset shift?
The
Because
stories,
but
all the
it's not
stories.
about being right or wrong. What is empowering you?
Yeah.
You know, what makes you more efficient? Because we're still stuck in a point of view or to an opinion or to a story. We're stuck to that. You know, and to really surrender, we have to give a point of views, because yes, we might be right, but being right doesn't mean shit. Is it helping you or doesn't help you? That's the real empowering or disempowering you.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, so we have to be able to give a point of views to like, okay, there's a more effective way to deal with this
Exactly.
situation, a more effective way to give answer to this problem.
Yeah.
Not just reacting it and just like shutting or straight into it. It's just like, okay, was I efficient? Or is a better or more efficient way to do this?
Absolutely. 100% ineffective and effective like behaviors. Absolutely. But then also, what are you going towards? Because when you're waking up on Monday and you're choosing an ineffective behavior, then you're actually like putting yourself in pain.
You do.
Like, what
You
the fuck?
do.
Like,
You
just
do.
go towards pleasure. You know, it's
You
a
do.
choice. It's a choice.
You do.
Yeah.
Do you have like a morning routine, like something which
Yeah.
you really? Oh my gosh!
It's like 3 hours.
No, you're kidding me.
It didn't always be like that, but as I've had more time and space and abundance, then I've just done whatever the fuck I wanted. So yeah,
Jesus,
like
you were in a Kardashian, darling. 3 hours just for your getting ready.
no, but not for
No, I was just kidding.
not superficial.
I know, you know.
Yeah. Oh
But
my
like 1
god.
hour meditation and 1 hour yoga and getting my chai Zen Buddhist tea, and that's like like another hour kind of thing. Yeah.
I do a smoking ceremony when
Yeah.
I wake up with sage and Palo Santo, and then like I'll go to the beach, build my sandcastle, put my ass
That's
on
your
it.
morning routine. You build your castle in the morning.
Yeah. Sit on it on the beach,
Whoa.
feet in the sand. And then I'll go for a walk or a run. And then I'll do some like sun salutations. And like, this is my favorite thing. I go to the end, you know, up the end where you have the pictures.
Yeah.
And like when the sun's there, and I just like do like get in my body just some few yoga stretches. And then I just like work with the sun energy.
That's right.
And I just like drink it in and just like bless myself all over with the sun energy. And I just feel it and just like bless myself and heal myself every single day. And it's like after that I'm like, "Ah," you know, just so inspired by just like
Your energy is like highest vibration.
well, where does everything get
Yeah,
its
of
energy
course.
from?
The sun.
Go straight to the source.
Yeah. Of course, man.
Go straight to
That's
the
the whole
source.
point, you know. Like the sun is real, you know. Like that's why I love this paganism and shamanistic space, because you know, the sun, I see it on a daily basis. You know, like I believe it.
Exactly.
You
It's
know?
accessible for everybody
It's
as well.
accessible, you know, just like breathing, just like, you know, water. When you see like this, like it's actually we got all the tools. Like it's, you know, a bit of breathing, a bit of cold therapy, like cold shower, a bit of sun, nice food, good nutrition. You know, like it's actually not as difficult. It's just consistency and
Totally. And when you think about it, it's all elemental. Like it's all earth, fire, air, water.
okay.
You know, like so we're working with the sun, cold water.
Yeah, true.
The earth is the food,
Wow.
our bodies,
Okay.
and the air is our breath. It's all elemental, you know. And
So
then the
true.
ether, being spirit guidance,
channeling
channeling, star
through,
beings,
yeah.
light beings, all that sort of stuff, light body. So it's all super simple, and that's what I guess, let's get controversial, what religion has always stopped us from doing. It's been preventing us being elemental beings,
100%.
us being pagan, connected to the earth, connected to all of that. So it's just really remembering
It
what.
was a freaking story. That was
Yeah,
a story. Yeah, it's a nice story.
Yeah.
I like the story, but I'm not completely buying into it, just a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just a freaking story. Everything is a freaking story, if you think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And every story takes you out of the present moment,
Pretty much.
unless you're channeling.
Or what's the purpose of your stories? You know, like what's its purpose? You know, some stories leaves you guilty. Some stories makes you angry. Some stories inspires you. You know, and
Yeah.
I think it's gotta be very very conscious what sort of stories we telling to ourselves.
Yeah,
You know.
absolutely. And I feel that, but two things on that, like the stories that we tell ourselves, absolutely the most important thing.
That's what it starts, right?
We just choose like how we talk to ourselves. And at the start, like I have said this a few times, you feel crazy because you're literally just talking to yourself and you've never done that before. It's like, oh my gosh, we've gone through our whole lives without talking to ourselves, and we're just externalizing the whole world.
Wow.
We're forgetting to internalize and like work with what we've got. Like, we've got a fucking body, we've got a soul, we've got essence, we've got vibration. We're like fully elemental beings, and we forget to work with our own magic. It's like, wow. Once we can start to tune into that and work with our own magic, it's like, that's when the game really starts. I feel. Don't you think? Like, that's when it's like, you can really start to fucking play with life.
Definitely. When every day is a blank canvas.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
when you leave the drama and the filter behind, and it's obviously it's much easier said than done, and you know, like it's that.
Sometimes.
But it's even if you don't know it, you know, things can trigger you and things coming up, you know.
Yeah.
But as soon as I think the more aware you are, the less time you spend in the stories, because it's still sometimes I react and, you know, still I'm making up stories, you know, and the things, but the time which I'm spending in bullshit and drama, you know, is getting less and less.
Yeah.
So I'm really consciously paying attention to, like, okay, am I a blank canvas? Am I a blank canvas? Am I a blank canvas? You know, like, it just, you know, this is just like a new, like, you know, like, I'm not the same person like 2 minutes ago, you know, like, it's, okay, I'm gonna be a different person in 2 minutes, so I'm not so stick to my ego.
Yeah,
you know, it's definitely, medicine definitely helped me to coming from the consciousness when the ego is, yes, I have an ego just like everybody else, but I'm not so stuck to it. Like, it's a bit more fluid, you know, like I'm not inventing now this identity, like who I should be or how should I look, or, you know, I'm doing it less and less. So I'm getting fine with the ego. I'm getting fine with my ego.
So with ego and identity then, do you believe that they are one and the same?
I think I would say the same.
So then with identity, would you believe that you have like one identity or like 59,000?
Because everybody's different. Some people have double personality and some people have zero personality. You know, some people have 57 personality, you know, it's you know.
What do you think you are?
I have quite a few, 100%. That's 100%. Definitely, I can transform myself into a couple of different personalities.
Yeah.
But with the ego, I think that the key with me for the ego is to not judge it, because it has benefits to it.
Absolutely.
You know, like
Absolutely.
it's if there was no competition, then probably we could not do this thing, you know, like just put on a camera and just like people could see anywhere in the world this sort of conversation, you know, because it's we always want to do better, we're gonna always improve, right? So the ego has that element to improve and grow and do better and innovate. Innovation, I think, is a huge one.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, so without ego, I don't think there would be innovation.
Yeah.
You know, I have a better idea. I think that can be done better.
I did agree until I just thought this.
Yeah.
Then what if we weren't, and then we were just getting constant downloads and we were pure vessels without stories, and then we wouldn't need to innovate so much because we'd just be getting the gifts and the downloads.
Okay. that's definitely.
I don't know, just something that came through.
But that's definitely on the astral level, or like on a changing beliefs and changing perceptions. 100% it can change like that. But when you're talking about the physical stuff, you know, you need to produce this. So this is an innovation as well.
Yeah.
You know, this is an
Is
amazing.
it looks like a spaceship.
It looks like a spaceship.
Maybe it's just like been copied.
Probably it was. You know, it has this very spacey sound. You know, like,
I love it. Yeah.
you know, so this is an innovation. This is an awesome innovation. It's.
Or possibly it is an ancient ruins.
Or it can be, which is innovated. You know, like it's got an innovative touch to it. You know, like
it's true.
You feel the startup vibe in the in the
cool.
instrument, right? Like
Yeah.
It's got the modern and the old together. You know?
Yes. The most beautiful. I love it.
I just went down to the park, just wanted to play with myself, just wanted to, I was playing like 5 minutes, and this very lovely Indian guy in his 60s, he comes like, oh my gosh, what a beautiful instrument, what a beautiful sound, and he came with his wife and just stood there for like...
Hey. I went, we're filming, just talking about stuff. Yeah, we're just like, why not?
So good.
How was breakfast?
Oh my god.
Beautiful?
It was good.
Yeah.
I'm going in waves of like, I'm so tired. To like cross-eyed walking around people just going, oh god, I'm having difficulty focusing. And then like I feel really good, I'm going to take the dog for a walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you?
I think I'm good. I'm really good. I'm really good at the same, just like the waves. But then I'm like, it's just because I'm dehydrated because I haven't drunk anything since we went camping.
Yeah.
But I've got water in my bag.
Did you want something?
Oh, no, I'm good. I'm just, the same, like the waves.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like just sort of being a little bit enjoyable as well.
I'm totally get that too. It's like happily munted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you want to join us
Right
in
now?
a chat? Yeah.
I think I'm gonna. Oh, you're doing like
We're just doing it live. I thought, why not? We're having a great conversation.
doing live now.
Yeah,
I just
why
linked
not?
it.
It's just a Sunday one.
Chill out session and Casa de Madre.
But yeah, you're right. Innovation, that's what we were talking about.
Innovation, yeah.
Everything's perspective as well.
Well, look,
Depends how you wanna look
I
at
think
it.
the reason why I came off with this thing or stuff with me, because when you go into this on the spiritual path, you're looking at ego as the enemy.
A lot of people do at the start.
At the start,
Dissolve
like
the
that's like
ego.
all the ego, and it's part of it. It's the nature of the beast, So it's okay if you can't avoid it. What sort of explanation I can give, which makes me be okay with it, because at the end of the day, that's what I mentioned before, is the important thing is not to get stuck to the story, is find something that works,
Yes.
something
Exactly.
which keeps you efficient and is empowering you,
Yeah.
instead of disempowering you. And when I was thinking of it, it's like, oh yeah, ego actually, look at what the ego actually was able to create, and to do and provide, so we can talk with anybody in the world, phone, chat, email, whatever.
Yeah.
That's an ego. Thanks to
Yeah.
the ego. Otherwise, we were still like eating, from something from the bush, or
Sounds like heaven, but yes.
That's a different. You can still do it,
Yeah, yeah.
You
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's very
So
true.
it's a double-edged sword. I think.
It is. Yeah, it is, and it's and the ego absolutely is so beautiful. And so, like in horoscopes and stuff like that, you've got all your different your birth zodiacs and all that. And then like for me, I'm a Capricorn is my soul.
You're Capricorn.
Capricorn is my soul. Yep. So that's my star sign.
Yeah. Okay. Which month?
January.
January. What's the date?
8th.
8th.
Yeah. It's a special time, obviously.
It is actually.
Yeah.
It is.
It is the beginning of the year. Yeah. And then my personality is a Leo.
Yeah, you are the go-getter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Capricorn is like super structured and maternal and likes to be by itself, but then the Leo's like, "Rah!"
Yeah.
So it's like so
nice.
contrasting.
But you need both, eh?
Totally.
You need both.
Yeah, because I could easily, like we were saying before, continue being a raw vegan and live in the bush for every single day and not contribute to society whatsoever, living in bliss myself.
Yeah.
But then how am I affecting the world how I really want to affect the world, So
true.
I need that Leo side of me to actually get out and incorporate both things.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is the biggest challenge now for a woman in your age?
Oh,
In your
so not for me personally.
not for but for the
Yeah,
for
I think it's
but-
single women that wanted kids that don't have a partner.
Wow.
That really wanted a partner and wanted to have kids, and they feel like they've missed out, that they didn't get to do what they were put here to do, almost.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big one, and
I heard it
like
before,
that's what
yeah.
we were talking about before, which
Yeah.
is why I wanted to start filming in the first place, which is really sad What were we talking about before to do with that? Like the feminine energy?
Oh, the female
the
getting
suppression.
suppressed. You know, that they're putting this pressure on women that, you know, by a certain age you have to have this and this and that, you know, and it's including kids as well, you know, and that's what we talked about, the tradition. Before that was the tradition, and now a lot of women experiencing something completely different. You know, they're not following the traditional path.
Yes.
Because we're not recreating that structure, that society.
Yes.
You know, what we used to have. We're recreating a new society.
Absolutely.
You know, and that requires different women.
Yeah.
You know.
It's so true. And on that as well. Oh, amazing. Oh, no, thank you.
Oh, Mike, thank you.
Coconut's
Oh,
the
thank
best.
you. God bless.
No, I haven't eaten yet. I like to start with fruit.
It's kind of a fruit.
Yeah, it is totally. It's 100% a fruit, you're right.
Mm.
But no fat, because it's just, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, thank you.
thank you. I feel that, yeah, on that, with women not having kids, like I was saying before, like I didn't want to have children. Once I did want to have children when I was in my early 20s, but then when I became awake, I was like, oh no, that's just a programmed society. Like I don't want to have children. I actually want to help hundreds, millions of children across the earth. So it's, I'm not
make
having,
a bigger
make a big impact.
Make a bigger
Absolutely. So, yeah, I would love that maybe people that were obsessed with having kids maybe just saw a different, like, you know, just created a different, I was going to say story in their mind, because they've almost got a story in their mind that, like...
Well, you just replace the old story with a better story.
Exactly. It's for a reason. You're here for purpose. Just step into purpose.
What is the purpose? How do you define purpose?
Each person's different. So it depends what they love, and that is at the core of them that they wish to express with the world. Then that's probably their purpose and their mission in life, and that's how they can leave a legacy behind.
So it's pretty much like you're saying that things what you do for others.
Yeah, it could be. Each person would be different, but yeah, it could be
Whatever it is, but whatever actually you do for other people, not for yourself.
Well, it might be that you're the most amazing, I don't know, knitter in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess you would be doing that for other people, and then that would be your
Yeah,
mission, to be able to share that with other people.
Sharing with other people.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's like could be your purpose, but yeah, it could be to
Whatever you're doing for others, because we could go to the mountains and meditate and just like, oh, life is beautiful.
Yes, you are right. It is what we do for others. Yes, I get what you mean now.
You know, like
Yeah.
life is just so beautiful.
It's my happy place. I wish I could live there.
You know what I mean? Like that would be such a awesome. I could get used to it, you know, especially if I
Totally.
could take this little drum as well. You know, like I would never come back.
Exactly.
You know, just
right?
give me food, just give me a pillow, and I'm fine. You know.
Yeah, totally. Like I was going to go and live in a yoga ashram and shave my head and live under a tree for 2 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I didn't. My family talked me out of that one. But like that's where I was headed, you know, like after being a raw vegan, like I was like, okay, that's it. I'm gonna give my salons away. I'm gonna go and live at this yoga ashram. I don't even want a house. I'm just gonna live in this like area under this tree. There's a little bit of a cave. If it gets dark, it'll be fine. I'll just live there. But yeah, that didn't happen. But maybe I'd done it before. Maybe that's why.
Still
In another
tickling
life.
you?
Oh, it's like the ultimate fantasy. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
It's one of my fantasies.
Yeah, of course.
Just to be in complete solitude, because I love being by myself
It's
and
really
just being in
interesting.
one with nature. Yeah.
And I used to volunteer for a personal development company, and they had all these different seminars. One was about business, how to sell, how to do public speaking, and they had sort of like this free events, you know, when they're inviting people, and you know, you can, if you like it, then you can sign up to the course. It was so interesting to see that the seminar which drew the most amount of people was always about finding your purpose.
Really? Interesting.
So a lot of people are going, but they go in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
You know, because they're in that. You know, we all are. You know, like it's so easy to get in. You know, like it's a daily struggle. But it was interesting that it's when you realize that something is missing. You know, you're looking for this. What is purpose? What is my calling? What is my gift?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And it's a very common collective anxiety.
Yeah,
I call it
absolutely.
collective anxiety. You know, everybody's sharing the same anxiety,
Yeah,
or like the most majority. You know,
yeah. The search,
the search,
looking
the
for,
search.
and it's really what just came up then was it's really the hero's journey. Like the movies that we've been watching ever since we were kids, everything is all about the hero's journey.
The hero's journey.
You know, and we're all on our own hero's journey. It's been programmed
That's
into us
It's a
that we
program.
need
Huh?
to. I reckon, like
It's a
every
part
movie,
of our nature.
it is part of our nature though
I
as
think it's-
well.
yeah,
But it
possibly.
is the biggest program in this reality, and it's a nice one. It's not all programs are bad or good, right? It's just what we make
true,
of them.
True,
It could be the most beautiful journey ever,
true.
right? Like stepping into finding out, like, who am I without my identities? Who am I with acknowledging the light and the dark? Who am I, like, finding who we are beyond all of the
All of the story,
stuff,
all of the story.
and
yeah.
then getting to live from that space and, like, okay, well, I'm going to go on my own adventure and, like, fuck off, like, all of the things that I need to do in this world, like having the income, having the job, having the partner, knowing where I'm going to go, having the plan, and just being like, you know what?
Blank canvas.
Yeah. It's like corny showing up to work every day, and I used to love Mondays as well. Showing up. 'Cause
That's awesome.
It's showing up,
That's
going,
the dash
I don't know what's
show
going to
up.
happen this week.
Wow.
It's an adventure. Like, seeing every day as an adventure. It doesn't need to be like the full hero's journey where you, like, run away from your life, your partner, your kids, and go and do this other thing. But it's showing up every day going, I know nothing. That humble thing that you were saying before.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm open for great stuff.
Yeah.
And the great can be good or
Trust,
bad
eh?
or ugly, beautiful, whatever. Yeah.
I think because you have like a certain trust towards life. You're like your core attitude. But you're having life, how life is occurring to you is trust. Like you set your intention, you know, you're grateful, you know where you stand, and you trust you're working with the universe
Yeah.
to let that manifest. And it's more like a play and it's a game with the universe to like co-create. Right?
Totally.
So you have a trust element with the universe, and
Yeah.
how most like in the matrix or the mainstream, that core relationship is built on fear,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It's all about like how we look, how much money we got, you know, do we
Scarcity,
belong somewhere, or are we weirdos? You know, so the core element, the core relationship is fear, and that's a low vibration. As opposed to somebody like who's a sovereign fighter,
Sovereign
activist, right?
Freedom
Yeah,
activist.
the freedom activist, that's it, the freedom activist.
Yeah.
The core relationship is not based on fear, it's built on trust.
Absolutely.
You know, it doesn't build on competition, it's built on cooperation.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
let's work together, let's find what's your gift and how you can actually contribute to the world. Because if
Yeah.
everybody's gonna be on that path, that's creating a better reality than just being like freaking battery.
Well, it's heaven on earth, really.
Pretty much, you
Yeah.
know, it's cooperation, you know.
Yeah.
And it's we can use the ego to compete, and you know, competition can be good for sport as well. It's freaking awesome, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so it has a good elements to it
Absolutely.
to bring the best out of ourselves. But it's the cooperation comes up.
Yeah.
That's right. You know, we're not just living for ourselves and for an ego, but we're seeing the bigger picture as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what you were just saying with the being in collaboration with the universe and having that faith or trust, or whatever you want to call it. And it's like you're in a game with yourself. Like, the more you trust yourself to believe, the more the universe will, like,
Come back
play
and
with you and go, oh, okay, you really believe me? You really want me to support you? Here's more gifts and more pleasure, like, more of all the stuff. So that's, like, it's just the mind is all that gets in the way of, like, of trust and
That's
belief that we're worth it, we're enough, we are supported, we are connected, we're not alone, we're always, you know.
supported,
Yeah. And so, yeah, I think it's just that the only battle is the inner battle with the self
That's it.
that we're not worthy of and we're unlovable. But as somebody, and a lot of people on here have know this person as one of our, like, Preston, you know, the guy, oh, was I talking to you about this? No, anyway, that we do, they run the Bridge and Extreme experience, and he was talking about this last week. He's like, you know, it's not like God goes around, source, creator, whatever you want to call it, goes around being an infinite being and going, you know what, I'll give that person a little bit of abundance. Fuck all these people. I'll give that person, you know, like, you fuck all you people live in scarcity. I'll give that. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just up to us to whether we are open to it or we're not.
That's right.
And I think that's what the inner journey is. It's always just cracking open to believe that rather than having, like he says, just a tiny little pencil that's absorbing abundance, to then a cup, to then a bowl, to then like
How much you can hold. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
So it's just cracking away at our beliefs that we're unworthy, so that we can be.
And also, if you
completely
can
in
take
abundance.
responsibility, because I think that's another big thing. You know, like it's really easy to, especially these days, to make money, but to keep it, it's a different story as well. You know, and that needs a lot of wisdom and responsibility, and not being in that reactive state. You know, because if easy money, easy go. You know, is the
Yeah, totally. And I think that's got to do with a lot with stories as well, because
big time.
like a lot of our families grew up in scarcity, so you know we're able to now live in this world where we're, oh, yes, amazing, we're getting the money and doing all the things and it's great, but then our programming is still scarcity. So it's like, oh, I can't keep it because I'm not worthy. I'll be like, you know, pushed out of my tribe, pushed out of my family because they don't have everything that I've got, so I'm actually not worthy of keeping
That's
it.
right. That's
I
right.
think that's a huge one. Yeah.
That's right.
What's
The
your
black
train
sheep.
of thought on that?
The black sheep, 100%. That's it's a collective story as well. You know, there's many people running in that mindset. You know, especially you know, parents grew up in a traditional mindset. They followed what the parents were doing, and obviously they're expecting the kid, you know, to do the same. And if you're not going on the same path, obviously they're worried.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, oh, you should have this and that and that. So it's a lot of struggle, not just from society, but also from the parents as well.
So true. Yes.
You know, the parents can, and they do it unconsciously. I'm not saying they're doing it intentionally, they mean bad.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just that sort of worry. That, like, oh my gosh, my son is 40 years old and only I have this one. My daughter is, you know,
38,
whatever,
she's not
you know.
married. Oh my gosh.
You know, so
she's crazy.
You know, and just like, oh my gosh, and doing all these poisons and mountains and cactus and, you know,
Burning
peonies,
yourself,
you know, like,
cutting her
oh my
up.
gosh, what have I done wrong? You know, and they're probably blaming themselves, you know, because they want to see us happy and successful. And
Yeah.
you know, if you're
true.
not going on the traditional standard, obviously they're worrying about it.
Yeah, and that's really interesting because my dad is like hilarious. He is always like, oh, I'm really worried about you. I'm like, great, let's go into that. What are you worried about? He's like, I just feel like I should worry. I'm like, that's a great program that you're running there.
It's a natural thing. Like, once you get a kid, of course, it's a natural thing. You're always gonna worry.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to though, and this is
You
what I say to
but
him. I'm like,
it's yeah, it's because you feel that you feel responsible for that little being, you know. So it's that's why it's just so fragile, you know. So
Yeah.
you have that feeling.
but then what if like worry was actually the same as excited? Because they're not too dissimilar. Like when you're excited for somebody, you're still sort of on edge a little bit.
Yeah, I'm excited for you.
Excited,
Kinda.
nervous.
All right, come back from there. don't go that far, right? Like,
Because you might be able to fly, and I can't do that. So like, you know.
Yeah, it can be, but that's
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
It's
Yeah. I just have this conversation with him all the time.
oh really? It's not completely natural, man. Like especially, you know,
It's
like
what?
it's completely natural for
Yes.
daddy's girl. Like he's always gonna be worrying about you. Doesn't matter.
Oh yeah.
You know,
totally.
that's a natural job. Like
I don't think he worries about me. He worries about my sisters. He's like,
Ah.
you're too far gone to be worried about.
he just saying,
You're so far gone that you're actually good. You're actually real good.
Okay. She sees the warrior, huh?
Well, when you've had all the traumatic experiences
Yeah, of
happen to
course,
you and then you're fine, like,
yeah, that's right.
what's
else?
to be worried about?
What else?
Like,
That's so true.
there's only death and you feel like you've died a million times, so,
So true.
it doesn't matter.
What else? Like
Yeah,
went through the worst.
yeah, literally,
Wow.
yeah. But that's also super interesting as well because, like, people see these things that might be like, you know, like last year my accident, I was disabled in my arm, and
Especially couldn't do the
couldn't do hairdressing.
work.
Yeah, what a fucking gift.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
what
yeah,
a
there's
story.
so much gold into all of the things. Like every single, especially sitting with a boga lately, because a boga's looking at your stuff, like look at this, like everything that has ever been stored in my body. It's just like constantly look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. It's like, whoa, so I'm coming at it without reaction or without like a negative emotion. It's just like, oh, this is because of this. And it literally says to you, do you want this anymore? It's like, no, I'll deal with that. And you deal with it, let it go. And it's amazing, right?
You're okay with it. You just be okay with it. Yeah.
Totally. And almost love it. Like,
Yeah,
love
of
the
course.
shit out of it.
Just be okay with it. It's
Yeah.
one of the shamanic principles. Is just to be okay with it.
Yeah, right.
Happiness mean be okay with it. So once you complete things and it doesn't run your life, you're okay with it. You
Yes.
accept it.
Yeah.
You're okay with it. Then you complete it.
Yeah.
That's not running your life.
Yeah.
So pretty
So
much
true.
that's what you're saying. Just these things coming up and you just make yourself, I'm okay with it. You know, I'm okay with it.
Absolutely. Still, like with stuff that comes up, it's like a little bit of maybe a bit of fear on certain things. So, okay, I'll be specific. 2 things that, because like it's literally things coming up all the time that you didn't even know were there, because that's what a boga does,
Yeah, you're
right?
right.
And so one of them was like, I had like in my growing up, I had blackouts of being a child, and I didn't know why I didn't. Anyway, and then so doing some work a few weeks ago, had a memory of being molested as a child, and in that moment, I had the opportunity to go, like, witness the people, and then go straight back into their lineage and of how fucking fucked up their lives were, how mentally,
Oh my god.
how mental their prison of their mind was.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, oh, well, it's not that bad. You know what I mean? Like, I saw that that's how it's created a lot of response mechanisms in how I react in certain ways in my life that may have been ineffective, but they've also been super effective in other ways as well, because it's kept me safe.
That's right.
I mean, it's kept me very open to other things, you know, but like, so it's really been really interesting. The other one, so that was like a bit of fear going and speaking to that person about that, what
But
happened to me.
You just have this suspicion, or you have certainty?
I had the full vision.
You had the full vision.
Yep. The room where it was in, the people that were in there, my mum walking in and witnessing it, and then because I'm an empath as well, I literally felt her heart in that moment die. Like, it was full on all these things,
my
right?
God.
So I was like, oh my gosh.
But you don't
whoa.
have a conscious memory of it. It's just
I
like
didn't.
your body memory. It's,
I don't know if it was a... Yeah, I guess it was a body
It
memory.
was body memory. If
Yeah.
the medicine was bringing it up,
Yeah, it's
then
true.
it can't
And
be the body memory.
I did a quantum inner child healing with one of my friends, Susie. That's what she does. So you go back and you, like something that might have triggered you lately, and then you go through a series of like steps,
Yeah.
and then it takes you back to that memory of where it happened. And I was like, fuck. So all these things, like we've been doing 3 of them, and with the iboga, all of this stuff coming up, it's like, whoa, it's amazing. The other one that I had just completed, clearing conversation, this week was speaking to some of my teams about selling my businesses, because this has been something that's been on my heart, and they've all said, oh yeah, we knew that you were going to sell your businesses, it's just taken like me a while to catch up, you know. But it was so scary going to speak to all of them about things, like scary, excited, but like fearful, because I care so much for them and I don't want to hurt them or upset them. The same with the other person that I went and spoke to. I was more concerned about them because I didn't want them to feel pain, because like I was cool, you know. Does that make sense?
It does, but it's you share something, and it's for them to react. It's their responsibility,
Totally.
right? So yes, you might have that concern about it, but if
Yes.
it's not just about the words what you're saying, and that's something I discovered, or just become more aware of it. It's not just the words, but where you're coming from.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, is there
Yeah.
enough compassion
Yeah.
in your voice?
And
When you-
truth.
and truth,
And
you know.
authenticity.
You know, and in that mountain where you're standing, or you're standing on a different mountain when you're just making people wrong, you make yourself right, you're blaming, you're justifying, you know, that's a different mountain, you know, it's
Yeah.
like a battle of the ego. But if you're coming from a place of compassion, you know,
Yeah, it's
you can give them some some tough love, and we could call it ruthless compassion, I think.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
If you're coming from that place, and they're gonna be alright.
Oh, they were fine.
Yeah,
It was just
100%.
me.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It's you, probably, yeah.
Totally, I was totally just me. Absolutely. Except for Courtney, she was like, "Oh my gosh!" But like,
Yeah.
but everybody was like, "Yeah, we get it." And so like, I'd built this thing up in my mind that was like so much more scary than it was actually.
Yeah, you created a story around it, eh?
Yeah, I created a story around it because that was my clearing this week. Well, the last 2 days of how, because then I've also got the opportunity, the possibility that my businesses could fall apart by being honest. But that's also a story too. So it's just like this interwoven creation of ridiculousness in my mind.
These things always gonna come up.
Yeah.
It's just what we're buying into it.
Yeah.
And I think when you're becoming aware of this little thing sneaks into my head, then you're able to shift it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because this thing's always gonna be there. It's
Exactly.
always
There'll be a next thing.
It's
the onion layer.
Onion, eh?
Yeah. So that was my thing this week.
How are you going with food? You wanna go for eat something? Or can you eat something?
Yeah, I can eat something.
Yeah.
I was just gonna get a coconut today. I was gonna fast today.
Oh yeah.
After Cambo, yeah.
Cool.
Where were you going to go?
Something light.
Like fruit?
Fruit or
I'm
salad?
mostly a fruitarian.
Oh, you're fruitarian. Okay. You definitely can get some fruit. Yeah?
Okay, cool.
Or some like a salad.
Yeah. Maybe some harpe.
Okay, hop
Sounds like that's going on. That sounds
and we can continue the live stream.
Anyway, yeah.
Probably it's not gonna be with the hang drum, but I don't know. What's the time?
I don't know.
Oh.
Love you, beautiful people.
Hola, beautiful
Peace
people.
Just
Hasta luego.
no makeup after Cambo face. All puffy. Love you.